Welcome back, folks, to Let's Replay Mystic Quest, and when last we left off, Jim has managed to make it to the Temple of Mana, but unfortunately, he's made it without Marcy. Marcy was programmed not to leave the Dime Tower, and so couldn't leave, even as it was collapsing, although Marcy did throw Jim over to the area where Castle Glaive is, so that Jim could carry on in his efforts to save the world. Marcy sacrificed itself to save Jim, and Jim will make sure that that wasn't in vain. The Temple of Mana is the largest dungeon in the game, and it also has the best equipment in the game within it. This treasure chest was dropped by a ninja. You'll notice that I'm not in the same area that I was before. That is because I've been walking around killing a couple of ninjas, and one of them dropped this treasure chest. You'll also notice, if I check my inventory, that it's entirely full of X-Ethers, and 2 sets of keys and an elixir, which means I can't pick up an item. If I walk into this, it will say, "You can't carry this," and we'll keep walking into it until it decides, hey, this time it's the samurai armor. And we now have one of the 3 best pieces of equipment in the game. Our defense points are currently at 104. The samurai armor makes it 114. We don't need that dragon armor anymore. There are 2 more pieces of equipment that we can get, and we can actually get one of those pieces of equipment in this starting area. If we go over here, we'll find one enemy right by the entrance. Just a little bit up here. Here are the demon heads. The demon heads can typically only be killed with nuke unless you have the dragon sword. These enemies drop the second piece of the ultimate armor. And we can keep killing them, and eventually one of them will drop that piece of armor. There aren't that many of them in this area, however, but I do know that there are some in this area. So you know what Jim's going to do? Jim is going to kill them repeatedly until one of them drops a treasure chest, because we might as well go into the next area with as much of the best armor in the game as we can get. This is why you don't need to worry especially about missing random pieces of armor or weapons as you go through the game, because the game forces you to get the best weapon, and you can get all of the best armor in the final dungeon. And so, when Jim returns, we shall be looking at another treasure chest. Hopefully, anyway. Let the hunt begin! And look what Jim's just found. It didn't take too long to find this treasure chest. There's a really good way of doing it as well. If you kill all the enemies in here, then take the stairs up to leave the Temple of Mana, come back and then head down past this screen and then back in, there'll be enemies in here again, every single time. And so, we're going to try and open this, but we can't carry what's inside. Just kidding, we totally can. This is the samurai helmet. The best helmet in the game. We're going to equip it, and our defense points will go from 114 to 120. The opal helmet has served us well, but we don't need it anymore. We're going to move on now because there's nothing else we can get in this starting area. I know what enemy we need to kill to get the final item, which is the Aegis Shield, and the Aegis Shield provides the best projectile deflection in the game. But we're not going to be able to get that for a long time yet. And so, it is time for us to move on, and we might as well replenish the keys that we have. We'll get rid of this pile of 2 keys here, and we'll grab this selection of 4 keys. This is the longest dungeon in the game, and it also has the most bosses in it of any one dungeon. We want to move away now because we've been turned into a Moogle. Even though we have the best defensive items in the game, we still can't prevent ourselves from being turned into a Moogle. But we can stab all these enemies with our Dragon Sword. The Dragon Sword will serve us well for now. I could have been using the Zeus Axe, but I missed the Zeus Axe. Do you remember that area where I said, you can't get past here or else you'll perish? Turns out, I was mistaken. And you can get past that area, but I'd just forgotten how to get past that area. So we don't have that item. We don't need the Zeus Spear, however, because we'll later on be getting the best weapon in the game. Might as well switch to the Dragon Sword here. There we go. And a few hits here. We might as well kill the enemies that are here. And we've leveled up. Helped a little by the fact that I was killing enemies outside of this recording. Let's gain some wisdom. We now have 52s all across the board. fantastic stats. And here are some ninjas that we're going to completely avoid and head into this area. There's nothing there. What about here? What about here? Nothing there either. What about? Nothing here either. Maybe there really is nothing here. Just going to check one more time, and doesn't seem like there's anything here, so we're just going to leave back the way we came and head in the other direction. Why not, eh? Down we go, through here. There are no enemies here at the moment. There will be in a little bit. There are enemies here, for instance. Aha! And now there aren't enemies here. After I've killed them, that is. And one more hit. You are gone. And we are a Moogle once more. That happens with alarming frequency with that enemy. We don't want to get hit by you. Fortunately, the pillar blocks the way. And now you are gone. We're going to head into here instead. We're going to use a key and open this up and head up these stairs. Up the stairs leads to this location. But what is this location? This location is where we're going to fight the first dragon of the game. The game has saved the dragons until last, and the dragon is a nasty foe, and we can't hit the dragon with the dragon's sword. That is to be expected. We need to hit the dragon with a different thing. For instance, maybe we can hit it with a thunder spear. No, we cannot. Do we have to hit it in the head? The answer is we do have to hit it in the head. We have to be very careful with where we are aiming. And the dragon moves around. It moves around more than any other boss we've encountered in the game. Fortunately, all it's doing is moving and breathing fire. We can deal with that. After all, we have a lot of health, and it has a very predictable movement pattern. If we just throw this spear occasionally, we should be okay. There are a lot of dragons in this temple, and we're going to be fighting all of them. But Jim is well versed in slaying dragons. Jim is actually not well versed at all in slaying dragons. He's had no experience in it until now. He's getting all the experience that he needs, however. This is a particularly simple fight. But as I said, this isn't the only dragon we're going to be facing in this game. Need to be a little bit careful. This boss will eventually fall. We have all of the health and X-Ethers we'll ever need to defeat it. And the boss is gone. Defeated dragon. And a teleporter appears that will take us to the next location in the temple. Let's go and equip the dragon sword again and move on. This way. It's a very nice selection of scenery we have here. And more of these enemies. We're going to have to defeat all of them to get some experience. And if they drop another chest, we could get another suit of a piece of armor. But we don't want another piece of armor. We just want to move on and head to this area. And find which enemies are within, like this ninja. I imagine there'd be more ninjas and demon heads further in, but I didn't want to fight them later on when I could get the items now. We're going to navigate around and see what we can find. Like this enemy, for instance. This enemy will perish easily enough. Down we go, and there is another one of these teleporters that I don't think is going to go anywhere in particular, but we'll have a look just in case. Here is where we're primarily going to be healing up through leveling up. This brings us to this location, and let's see if we can find anything here. We don't need to do any exploration anymore in particular, because we have 2 out of the 3 of the best pieces of equipment in the game. We're not going to find a better weapon or anything like that, so we might as well just work our way towards finding the way forward to the next boss, because there are quite a few bosses here. Just need to watch out for these enemies. This dungeon has all of the toughest enemies that you'll ever face. It's not going to have anything like the dungeons where we fought random foes, but it does have rooms with the skeletons and the bouncing blobs, because even at this point you're going to need keys, and if you didn't pick up the flail, you're going to need mattock. So we're just going to equip this and move on. Is this where we need to go? There is only one way to find out, and that is to keep exploring. We're generally just going to explore semi-randomly until we find where we need to go. This doesn't seem like where we need to go. Have we gone backwards? There's only one way to find out, and that is to search for stairs up. And we haven't yet found any stairs up. The search for the stairs up might take a while, because, as I said, this is the largest dungeon in the game. And guess what? We found another samurai helmet. We don't actually want this. We want to throw this away, because we want one equipment slot empty so that we can grab the best shield in the game eventually. There is no way that you can avoid the best shield in the game. There is eventually another point of no return, but once we reach there, we can still get the shield. The shield is dropped by enemies in that very final area, and it's a very useful item. You really want to get it. These enemies just teleport around, nothing really to worry about. They don't have any ranged projectiles or anything like that. And there is another teleporter. Let's go in here. This looks like progress. There is one ninja here. Have at thee, ninja! And thee was had at. We're just going to heal up a tiny bit and move on. Down here! I wonder if Julius can see that we're working our way through the Mana Temple towards where he is. He might be able to. What is over here? The answer? Another teleporter. Surprising nobody. But where does this teleporter take us? It takes us to here. Is this where we need to go? Who could say? This place is confusing. Aha! We defeated the dragon. Yes, we did. We've managed to go back the way we came. So that was a big circle. But that's okay, because we can go and fight these enemies again and go back to our search. Mid-swing there, we decided to head into this teleporter, and this time we're going to go this way. There are some enemies, well, one enemy, at a door. Let's go and defeat this foe, head into here, and there is another teleporter. This teleporter brings us to here. This could very well be one of those places where I'm going to get very lost. Very lost indeed. Also, we can't carry that, so we're just going to have to leave this screen and head back in. And this time, hopefully, none of these enemies will drop anything, and we have been turned to stone. That is a little inconvenient, but we'll be absolutely fine, because we have a lot of health. We have nearly 300 hit points, and over 50 points of magic. We've already been here, but maybe there is a branching path that I didn't take before. We need to have the Thunder Spear equipped to take care of you. Have at thee! Stab! Move past this treasure chest. Stab you! Go into this room, and we will go through here. That's fine. We just need to double check if this is a circle. Up here leads to this area. And I think we went into here and there was a teleporter there, so this very well could be a massive circle. I think it is. There's only one way to check, though, and that is to go this way as well and see if there's anything in this direction. After we've killed this ninja and gained yet another level up, aha! We're going to gain more power, because we want 299 health. What is in here? There is only one way to find out, Jim, and that is to kill everything in here. By swinging this sword that can now quite capably take care of everything. We'll just walk through this door. Is this an area that we haven't been to yet? And if it is, we need to find an area that we haven't been to yet. Over here we go. And down. Ooh, gotta take care of you. And down here. This looks vaguely familiar. I think it is familiar, because I'm pretty sure if we go down here, we'll find this room, and then if we go down here, we'll find this teleporter. Pretty sure we've been in this teleporter before, but it's always worth checking. Yes, we have. This teleporter brings us to here, so we've already been in that one. And if we go into this one, we'll find this teleporter that we've also already been in. Slowly but surely, we'll figure out where we need to go. We'll go into this one and find this teleporter. And I'm pretty sure we've already been in this teleporter as well, because it brings us to this room. And we've been here. Eventually, Jim may find where he needs to go. If he can see, which he cannot see. That's okay though, he doesn't need to see, and we also don't need to open that. at all. Then again, we could open it, because they do drop X-Ethers. And it's worth it just to use an X-Ether so that we can recuperate all of our MP. Now the question is, there we go, 1 X-Ether. It would have been a little bit awkward if the game had then thrown a, one of the samurai helms at us at that point. We haven't been this way. Why don't we try going this way? Maybe we'll find progress this way. There's only one way to find out, and that is to try, and defeat everything that we encounter. There we go, the snails are gone. This door is locked, and that is promising. Maybe this way is the way forward. We're going to go into here, and we haven't been here yet. That is encouraging. If only they provided some kind of map for Jim so that he could easily find his way through this temple. If Sivir or Bogard had one, it's just careless that they didn't hand it out to him. We haven't been here before. This is definitely progress. And if this game has taught me anything, there is going to be a secret way in the left wall. But we'll just take care of these foes first. Let's just stab here and stab there. We're going to have a look here first, though. There is nothing in here. The game is giving us no alternative but to go in this direction. And it's nice that it gives you a room directly south of where you'd need to use Mattock, where you can get Mattock. But we have the Morningstar / Flail that I've never decided on its actual name, so we can move this way, towards progress, and towards the second boss of this dungeon. Aha! Your stars are no match for the sword that can kill everything but dragons. Not surprisingly, it can't kill dragons. And that potentially could be another one of the suits of armor, but we don't want it. So instead, we'll just move on. And we'll just kill you. One of these enemies, I think it's the ninjas actually, drop elixirs, so in a sense I should have probably tried to open that, but I didn't. We could go this way, but I'd actually rather go into this room and see what's in here. The answer is there's a teleporter in here. Do I want to go into this teleporter? There's only one way to find out, and that is to go into the teleporter, which brings us to this room. We haven't been to this room yet, so we shall... I was going to say that we should equip the spear, but you know what? We'll just use fire on you. We haven't used fire on any enemy for quite a while, and as we all know, fire deals with almost everything, and I'm failing to get into the magic menu here to select Cure. I want Cure here. I don't want to face ninjas here, but I really don't get much choice in that regard. I'll just kill them instead. Ah, is this a puzzle? Who knows if this is a puzzle? What I do know is that we need to cast ice on that enemy over there. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to wait very carefully and cast our spell now. Navigate around, and unfortunately that is one snowy enemy that I don't think we can kill with the ice spell. We'll try though. Will this defeat the enemy? It doesn't need to. It can go straight through the snowman. That is handy. We'll have Cure selected again, and move on after solving a puzzle. That brings us to the stairs up. We've managed to find our way forward. And remember when I said there are quite a few dragons? We're going to be equipping the Thunder Spear here, because we're about to find another one of the dragons. Right here. Here's dragon number 2. And unfortunately, it has exactly the same strategy as the first dragon. But have you seen the difference? This dragon goes around the arena anti-clockwise rather than clockwise. And that is all that it does that's different. This is a little bit of a weak boss compared to the first time you encounter the dragon, because the first time you're like, whoa, it's a dragon, that's amazing! And then the second time you encounter this dragon, you're like, oh, it's the dragon. That's amazing. Jim has nothing to say to the dragon, because he has nobody to speak to. There is one thing that this boss does do, though. Sometimes it changes the direction that it's going. That would be impressive if we hadn't already seen this boss, and so now it's exactly like the first dragon boss that we encountered. It's even going in the exact same direction. I think it has more health, and it hits a bit harder, But so far as you can see, this boss hasn't even hit us yet. There we go, it's changed direction again. Watch out, Jim! Just throw your spirit in a few more times, and eventually it will be defeated. Hopefully anyway. And another hit will be needed. This dragon is not yet dead. And it's still not dead. It most certainly is a more challenging boss, purely in the sense that it has more hit points, but not in any other sense, apart from the fact that sometimes it jukes you out like that. It's like, I'm now going this way! Aha! And nobody was surprised, dragon. Everybody knows that you switch directions occasionally now. Just like that. Maybe there's something about the position of where you are that makes it change direction, but it only does it when it's on the top half of the screen. Aha! That spear was rubbish! And these flames are really ineffective compared to, say, the Lich's skulls that it flings. This is a massive arena, and you have plenty of opportunity to dodge. So really, it's not difficult to dodge them, and I don't even think we need to... Aha! We finally got hit! And we got hit for about 5 points of damage. That is how ineffective this boss is at this point. Just hit you here, and I believe our shield is actually good enough to deflect the dragon's breath. But it doesn't matter, because we've defeated the red dragon. And so, when we come back, folks, we're going to go into that teleporter and move on to the next part of the Temple of Mana. And hopefully, when we encounter Julius, we'll be able to defeat him and save the Tree of Mana and the world. And so, I'll catch you next time, folks, and I'll see you then. Later. If only Marcy were here, Marcy would say something encouraging like, confirmed. I miss Marcy already. Later.